2018. Been a weird one this year, if you want me to be completely honest. I don't usually run scripts on these year in review videos. I kind of just go off the dome, and it's no different today. We're going to talk about what happened in 2018, both for the channel, for me, for everything. It's a year full of ups and downs. It's a lot harder than previous years, and we're going to talk a bit about that as we're going through, as well as, you know, some things which happened in my life personally, which are huge for me. And we're just going to go through the whole year, month by month. So let's go ahead and start off with January. Every single year, it's always really weird going back to all my old videos in January and seeing what happened in January, because it genuinely feels like so long ago. Can you believe it? In January, Payback was still relevant and people were still playing that game. Can you believe that for Horizon, we didn't know anything about that game? Honestly, when you look back to January, it feels like an absolute age ago, especially when I think about, for me, and the things that I've been doing since then. It's crazy. 2017 was the year that I kind of struggled through towards the end, and I kind of felt that same fatigue in January. Nothing to do with YouTube, just to do with my kind of mental state, I guess. I wasn't in the right place. And definitely this whole movement with the Tokyo Nights thing was a huge thing for me. And can you believe that was back in January also? There's only a handful of times since I've been doing YouTube where I've kind of managed to get the whole community behind something and behind an idea. I kind of got that vibe back when I released a documentary that I made a few years ago about Need for Speed. That felt like a really community-oriented thing, and even the views that I ended up getting felt really significant, and it felt like important almost. There's been a few times since then, you know, here and there, but one of the major kind of highlights, I guess you could say, out of all those things would be Tokyo Nights. It was one of those things where anyone who played Need for Speed that was in this community were involved, or they had heard about it, or, you know, it had reached to them somehow. One thing which was really important as well in the early months was, realistically, we didn't really have many games to play. A lot of the games that came out in 2017 were just a bit shit, really. Payback died off like so quickly, and that was the game that I was kind of expecting to play for a very long time. And, you know, all the other games, they weren't really games that I'd necessarily play on the channel. When YouTubers are kind of put in that situation, the ones that really prosper are the ones that kind of strive creatively, and I feel like for me that's something that I really strived on anyway. And it's 100% the reason why Tokyo Nights was so big. Not only the community engagement and stuff, but the kind of the fact we had nothing to do. It was something to do when I was bored, just to make this whole thing. And then obviously Jay came along and everyone else helped with the whole idea, and Crown got involved and everyone got involved, and it was one of those things where it was a genuine community effort. And it's so sick to look back on this and still see people uploading and posting hashtag Tokyo Nights things, like with the hashtag and shit on Twitter, and it's all really cool to see that it's still relevant and stuff. And that was, you know, all started off in January. Moving on to February, this is when the Burnout Paradise remaster came out. That feels like an absolute age ago as well. It feels like so long ago looking back on it, and luckily I got some early content and stuff, got some early codes because of EA and through EA Game Changers. And again, I still can't thank them enough for everything they've done in terms of the early content and in terms of helping the channel in that way. As harsh as I may be on Need for Speed and that series, it's really cool to be involved with these early, you know, early programs. A highlight of the year prior in 2017 was being flown out to Gamescom and stuff. I just never thought I'd ever be put in that position through YouTube, and it's really cool to kind of being able to be going to more of these types of events and being able to branch out and network, and it feels like everything is slowly starting to click in place. So that is one thing I just want to quickly say. And honestly, other than that, nothing really much from kind of the February period up until around the summer, the start of the summer to be more specific. April is a big month for me. Not only is my birthday April the 18th, keep that in your calendar, I was also going through the process of finding a new car. The Crew 2 was close to releasing. We got rumors and information and stuff about Super Street, but we don't need to talk about that. And for me personally, April was kind of the month where my head kind of just changed and I started to become a bit more focused. Obviously, my second year of university was over, and it just allowed me to focus on myself a bit more, allowed me to focus on my YouTube channel and the kind of the more artistic side of it, I guess, the more kind of creative side of it, I guess. Having a good balance of the creative side and kind of the numbers side is really important, and I actually don't really feel till like now I've properly understood it. Having all these things going on just to keep me active and keep me moving, I think for anyone is really important. And April, and I think the whole summer, was vital to that. And then the summer actually started, and looking back on it, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say this was my favourite period of 2018. The summer of 2018 is one that I'm gonna remember for so long. Not only did I get the opportunity to go out to go play The Crew 2 early, but just for me personally, I moved back down to my university home. I was living by myself for a very long time, working on myself. You know, I had a job in the meantime, you know, supporting the YouTube stuff, using the monetary stuff I was getting from my job, you know, for YouTube. It was overall just a period of my life which was so fun, and if there's one period of 2018 I would relive, it would hands down be the summer. So in May, I bought my car. Huge thing for me. My MX-5 is something which I actually have so much fun with that thing still. It's been, you know, a bit up and down in terms of the ownership, in terms of, you know, the maintenance and stuff, but one of the things that is definitely a highlight of my year. It was sad to see my old little Suzuki go, but the MX-5 is more than enough to replace it. The Crew 2 beta also happened in May, and we all played a lot of that. Like, I think it's pretty self-explanatory from the videos I was making then. I was really enjoying it back then as well, and that led us on to E3, where Forza Horizon finally got announced, my racing game of the year. I still look back at E3 as a very weird time because I had such low expectations for Horizon, and still to this day, everything's been absolutely smashed out of the park. Shortly after Forza came out, it was kind of when we got the flood of games, when the games started coming out. The Crew 2 launched fully, and for the first few months it was very fun. I give that game a lot of slack for what it's done and what it's doing currently, but you know, for the first few months, or the first month or two, I really enjoyed playing The Crew, and I still am very grateful for Ubisoft for, you know, for sending me out to record the game early and all that kind of stuff. That stuff which I will always be grateful for, no matter what the game is like. Just having those opportunities to, you know, meet the people behind the scenes is always an honor, even though I disagree with some of the things they're doing in game. It's one of those things, again, I'm just very appreciative that I can even be in that position with actual journalists, like recording games. It's all a bit surreal still. Around this time, I also moved back down to my university home, as I mentioned earlier, and this was, I think, the turning point of the year. When I moved back to my university home, and I was by myself, and I was with my friends in my house, and we were just having a summer. Like, it was just summer. It was great. I had the routine of I would be working out, then I'd actually go to work, and then I'd come back after work, make a video, rinse and repeat, and it would be one of those things. It was just one of the best periods of my life up until this point. I really wish I could re-experience it. I really hope next summer is just as good, because I still can't put it into words, really. I went on 2 road trips. I went on a road trip with my friend to Wales. I will link a film related to that down in the description, made by my friend for that road trip. And then I also went on the Horizon Europe road trip. Unfortunately, I lost all the files for that. It's really annoying. I don't have the files anymore, so I can't continue the series. I was going to finish it all off and do one big film about it, but unfortunately I can't. But regardless, those road trips are memories that will last a lifetime. It was genuinely eye-opening, and the mix of doing those road trips and also, you know, going to Reading Festival this year, it was kind of the perfect storm of just happiness. I don't know, it was just a really fucking good time. Coming up to September and the kind of back end of the year, which honestly has gone absolutely rapid now I think about it. Start of the 3rd year of university, and more specifically my final year. It's a mixed bag, to be honest, the final year of university. I'm really happy to, you know, finally get it done and over with and get into the real world and start making money, but at the same time, I'm going to miss a lot of university. It's kind of one of those things. I'm going to miss being in that student bubble. I've really been enjoying my 3rd year so far. I hope that the last semester is as good as the first has been. And I guess that's something that only time will tell. But at the moment, you know, everything's going pretty good. Fast forward to the last few months, and we hit 25k subscribers. This year hasn't been a good year for growth on the channel, if you want me to be abundantly honest. And I feel like that's a lot of things. I feel like it's a lack of games. I feel like it's, you know, the meta changes that I haven't really adapted to properly. A lot of things, but you know, we still hit a milestone this year. 25k is still huge. You know, it's one of those things people kind of say it goes 25k, 50k, 100k, and obviously when you get 100k you get the silver plaque. I would love for in the next year that to happen. That would be like a dream for me if that was to happen in the next year or two. But 25k is still an amazing achievement in itself, and I'm still forever grateful for that. I got the opportunity to go and visit some F1 esports. That was actually one of the highlights of the year for me. It was genuinely unexpected as well. One of the fewer events that I got invited to. I didn't get invited to many events this year, but this was a really cool one. It really opened my eyes to a whole new world of gaming that I've never realized was there. And then also Forza happened. happened, Horizon happened, and forever since it came out, you know, Forza have been listening to us, they've been adding content, and it's been fresh, it's been new, and it's kind of nice to be able to play a racing game and feel fresh and new and exciting, having had this year where we've kind of been having to do other things, creative things to keep you guys engaged, as well as myself, because obviously you have to be engaged in what you're making. But now we've got Forza here, things are a bit different, and even the Crew 2's PvP has kept me coming back. And that pretty much rounds it up for 2018 in review for my channel and for me, really. Again, a real mixed bag. Kind of the start of it wasn't that great, then it got really good in the middle, and now the back end of it is good, but it could be better. And I look forward to 2019 with the new Need for Speed game, hopefully coming out, you know, next year, and hopefully being announced at E3. Just with me leaving university, that's going to be a complete experience. I look forward to 2019 and what it has to come. I feel like I'm just a lot stronger of a person now, both from my YouTube content's perspective, for me and where I am in my life and where I want to go. I feel a lot happier in my life, which is nice. I'm really excited to see where things go, because honestly, 2019, I feel like it has to be a huge year. With me leaving university, this next year is going to be one of the biggest changes I've had in my whole life period up until this point. And I'm excited to see where everything's gone, and I want to thank everyone for being here, you know, and subscribe to the channel. Things are looking up for the channel recently. I've changed a few things behind the scenes, and video views are doing better and all that kind of stuff, and I'm really excited to see where things are going to go from here, because, well, I guess it can only really go upwards, can't it? So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this year in review. If you did, make sure to go ahead, hit the like, subscribe. I will see you guys in the new year with another video, but for now, that's been it from me. Stay safe, and